right now, I mean, LeBron, I will say yes. In this situation, it's Coach Killer. Is there another?
That's a hell of a point. That is a hell of a point. And that is a point that most people would have to say, you're right. But I'm glad I'm not most people, because I actually like to do the journalist part and do the research. Moses Malone, 19 seasons, 13 coaches. Shaquille O'Neal, 19 seasons, 13 coaches. Patrick Ewing, 17 seasons, 11 coaches. Carmelo Anthony, 19 seasons, 11 coaches. AI, 14 seasons, 10 coaches. The great Kobe Bryant, 20 seasons, 10 coaches. KG, 21 seasons, 9 coaches. Now we get to LeBron James at 21 seasons, and now he's going to be on his 9th, going on 10th coach. And now it's his fault.
LeBron James has been with the Lakers since 2018. 2018, right? That's 6 years ago. Okay. Yeah, Luke Walton, Frank Vogel, Darvin Ham, and who's ever next.
Gotcha.
Okay. It's about to be 4 coaches. Four coaches.
Yes.
Why does LeBron why isn't he being held accountable for the lack of stability in the organization? Why doesn't he hold a piece of that pie?
I think that's a great question, Coach. I think that's a great question. Here's my answer. Here's my answer to you. One, as a player, if LeBron James has the ability to get coaches fired, as you're insinuating, because this is clearly an insinuation, because I'm gonna get to my point in 2 seconds. If you're insinuating that he has the ability to get coaches fired, why doesn't LeBron James have the ability to get coaches hired? Because we clearly know that he wanted Ty Lue 2 years ago. We know he wanted that, but we know the Lakers historically, they don't pay coaches. They came to Ty Lue with a ridiculous offer where the actual LA Clippers, who shared the same building, offered him more, and he's coaching there. So if he has the ability to get a coach fired, why doesn't he have the same prudence? Why doesn't he have the same weight on his word to get a coach hired? Now,
real quick, let me chime in really quickly. Now, they did offer him, but they told him he could not pick his own coaching staff. That was a part of it. So I do think the weight of that was a part of the issue. He could not pick his own coaching staff.
I'm not making that face based off of what coach is hired to a job that doesn't bring in their own staff.
Ty Lue.
But listen,
that's why he's not. That's the point.
Hold on, Coach. Hold on, Coach. The fact that you
J.O., after you respond, I want to go back because I want to hit the second video that I definitely want to watch and want to react to. But go ahead really quick.
The fact that you just went on with this long soliloquy is proving that you're not holding him accountable. Like you're literally making excuses of why you can't hold him accountable. Like you're literally doing that.
Okay, Coach J.O.
All right. Wait. I want to get back to the video. Take us back to the breakdown scene. All right. I want to talk about this video here, and I want to get you guys responses from this, because now talking about accountability, this plays a fact into it too. Hey, again, shout out to Dreamers Pro and Charles Advance, man, doing this thing a great job. Both clips coming from the YouTube video. Listen, this goes towards his accountability, right? It goes towards his accountability because now accusations, allegations, and all the sons, whatever you want to call them, you know what I mean, are saying that LeBron not only fails or refuses to take accountability, he also shapes and molds the narrative. And I want to hear what y'all have to say about this and your thoughts on this. Let me play it really quickly.
Take a listen to what Stephen A. Smith had to say here on ESPN First Take yesterday.
We're going to make sure that LeBron James' camp doesn't get to pull off what they will try to pull off. Because you see, the narrative is already, we're blaming LeBron James for the firing of coaches. That's not what this discussion is. What
I just want to say really quickly, I blame him for the firing of the coaches. Ain't no coincidence. It's not that many coincidences in the world.
This discussion is us debating that another firing that has occurred under his watch, whether or not that compromises quote-unquote GOAT status in the eyes of a Shannon Sharpe or Kendrick Perkins or Stephen A. Smith and others. That is what the debate is. See, they'll leave. And what they'll say is, oh, LeBron James is getting blamed for the firing. We're not saying that. What we're saying is that you're not as innocent and you're not some just mere spectator in this whole scenario the way you try to pretend to be. That is what we're saying. We're not going to let LeBron James and his camp get away with that. We're not blaming him for the firing. What we're saying is you can't be as great as you proclaim to be, as we know you are, in today's NBA game, and be completely innocent and oblivious and distant, having nothing to do with the firing of yet another coach. That is impossible. That's all we're saying. But having said all of that, while acknowledging that that's a reality that he has to live with, there's a bigger narrative to touch on. And that is the fact that LeBron James has brought these debates on himself, Shannon, because of this insatiable appetite he has to control narratives.
Now, I want to stop right here. I'm going to start with you this time, Coach J.O. Me personally, I think Stephen A. Smith is on point here. And y'all know there's times we just don't agree with Stephen A. Smith, right? Whether he right, wrong, opinion, whatever. We agree, we don't agree, whatever. This is one of the times I say Stephen A. Smith is spot on, right? And we like him, love him, hate him. He's one of the greatest to do what he's doing, and he's been at it for years and years and years. And the man knows damn near everybody. Come on now. The man knows damn near everybody. The man has a lot of inside connects, right? Like him, love him, hate him, right? He's spot on, Coach J.O. Yep. LeBron is attempting to control the narratives, but this is not even the best part. Wait till we get to the end of what he says, and I definitely got to get y'all reaction in. But thus far, what's your thoughts on what he's saying?
He's absolutely right about controlling the narrative. And Coach J.O. has been very, very tough on the national NBA media over the years. I've been tough on him because I just don't think that a lot of these guys had a pair to be able to say the things in which Kendrick Perkins is saying and Stephen A. Smith is saying.
Right.
They are showing now they have some testicular fortitude. They actually have some. And to be able to man up, poke their chest out, and say what they really mean, regardless of what happens. Okay? And LeBron James does try to control the narrative. Not only him, but Rich Paul and his entire camp. They live for this. They literally live for this. Okay? And people are catching on to it, and they're calling a spade a spade. It's just what it is.
Coach Scott?
I have a one question for Coach J.O. The narrative is LeBron James is the coach killer, and the camp narrative is he's not. Would you say yes or no to that?
He's definitely a coach killer.
He's definitely a coach killer.
Definitely.
Any player that has, 8 coaches, 9 coaches over their span of a 21-year career, they're a coach killer, right?
Not just any player. Not just any player. But a star player, an all-time great player, you know what I'm saying, in the prime of his career that still's doing it. Yes.
Okay, LeBron James.
Before you go forward, Coach Scott, because I want to add this in while you're asking your questions. Because I like that question. That is actually really a question. Because what if there was another player to do the same exact thing? My question would be this. Did that other player have that pull to say that coach stays, that coach goes? Did that other player have that controversial or that tension that's always around him that causes the front office to say, hey, maybe we keep him, maybe we don't, based off how you feel? Did the other player do those type of things? And if so, I would say, yeah, then that player he's probably an issue as well. But right now, I mean, LeBron, I will say yes. In this situation, he's coach killer. Is there another?
Yeah, that's a hell of a point. That is a hell of a point. And that is a point that most people would have to say, you're right. But I'm glad I'm not most people, because I actually like to do the journalist part and do the research. Moses Malone, 19 seasons, 13 coaches. Shaquille O'Neal, 19 seasons, 13 coaches. Patrick Ewing, 17 seasons, 11 coaches. Carmelo Anthony, 19 seasons, 11 coaches. AI, 14 seasons, 10 coaches. The great Kobe Bryant, 20 seasons, 10 coaches. KG, 21 seasons, 9 coaches. Now we get to LeBron James at 21 seasons, and now he's going to be on his 9th, going on 10th coach. And now it's his fault. Is it a narrative, or is this what great players have to hold the organization to as it pertains to who's coaching? Hold on, coach. Hold on, coach. You can shake your head, but now you have to look and say, is Moses Malone not a star? Because the bio said, does that player have the weight to pull the organization left or right based on who they are? Does Shaquille O'Neal? Does Patrick Ewing? Does Carmelo Anthony? Does Allen Iverson? Does Kobe Bryant? Does KG? Are you serious?
Hold on. Let me ask you this question. Because now those are excellent points. I'm going to be fair. That's an excellent point, and that's an excellent stance, that a position to argue from in talking about the situation. But let's use Shaq for example. You named how many coaches does Shaq have?
Coach, Shaq had 19 years, 13 coaches.
Okay, we can probably eliminate almost half of those, because it was going from team to team. Exactly. That's what I want to put in there. Some of those coaches weren't fired. It's because they were moving around. Some of the coaches may have been fired. But let me ask you this, Coach Scott. Again, excellent point that you made. But I think it was lacking something like, were those players going from team to team as well? Now, when was that happening? Was that some of that late in their careers? Yes, for some of them it was. But let me ask you this. During that era, 80s, 90s, even 70s, wherever, right? Did the players have the ability to control narratives and the authority to have coaches fired like they can today? We even talked about this, even though we're in football, we see players like just kind of disrespecting coaches. It's not the same as it was back then. So was it the players or the owners?
Well, I would definitely say Carmelo, AI, Kobe, KG, they definitely had the ability to do so. In my opinion, Shaq, Pat, Moses Malone, probably not. They played under the real regime of the National Basketball Association. I would say that. It's not the same game that Moses, Shaq, and Pat really played under. But as it pertains to Carmelo, AI, Kobe, KG, I would say they could sway whether or not a coach stayed. But I do want to make a point before we go back to the video. Paul Silas, he was removed in mid-season of LeBron James' second year. As a 20-year-old, did he really get Paul Silas fired? As a 20-year-old? And his second year? Probably not. Then the interim coach came in, Brendan Malone. Did he really have the ability to keep him or get him fired? Probably not. Mike Brown, truth about the situation, because I love context. Mike Brown got fired after LeBron James left. Why would I ever jump on a powder keg on a team that I'm not even going to be around? And it's a team that I got to play.
So let me ask you this, Coach Scott. Again, Coach Dale, excellent point. It's an excellent point. So let me ask you this. And I'm going to make it real basic, right? And we're going to get back to the video. If LeBron robbed 5 banks and we say he was a bank robber, but Moses Malone, Shaq, and AI, they all robbed 6 or 7 banks, it just make them all bank robbers, does it not?
It absolutely makes them bank robbers.
So it doesn't erase the fact of what's happening. They still bank robbers.
Absolutely. But here's my point. And this was my sole point of asking Coach J.O. this question. Where's their accountability? They get away scot-free. They get away scot-free while everything gets late. Hey, I'm all about accountability as a man. LeBron James needs to take accountability for whatever he needs to take accountability for. They're not moving on to the Western Conference Championship this year because LeBron James and AD were not good enough. And I'm going to say it in specific because LeBron James, though he played phenomenal throughout the season, though he played phenomenal throughout the playoffs, he wasn't good enough to eliminate a team that beat him 19 out of 3 times. I'm gonna say it.
So
but guess what?
Come on, let's wrap it. Go, Scott. Come on, let's get to the point.
No problem. But guess what? That's why Darvin Ham is not here anymore. He's 3-19 against a team that's in his conference that he's gonna have to see, regardless of what anybody says.
Coach J.O., before Coach J.O., now I want Coach J.O. to respond to that. Some great points. Hell of a point. Take us back to the 3, Cam. Let's go ahead, and then I definitely want to see that. And Coach Scott, Coach J.O., I want you to answer. You got it.
Those are not great points. Those are not great points. You literally listed an entire chapter of the I'm gonna give LeBron James passes book to not hold him accountable. You're literally giving reasons not to hold him accountable. You're trying to hold other people accountable and not hold him accountable. And you think you slick, Coach Scott. You're going to throw in LeBron James and AD wasn't good enough to get it done. What does AD have to do with this? What does AD have to do with this segment? Absolutely.
Based on your conversation, AD is the Lakers. He's the one that carried the Lakers this year.
Well, we're talking about Coach Scott.
I gotta put the best player in your opinion on the chopping block too.
We're talking about what Coach Scott believes. Coach Scott believes LeBron James is the best athlete to play basketball.
Yes.
Coach Scott believes LeBron James
25, 7, and 8 says that
LeBron James is the best player on the Lakers. That's what Coach Scott believes.
Yes. Okay. But Coach J.O. doesn't believe that. So my juxtaposition is asking Coach J.O., what about it?
Again, you're throwing all of this out here not to hold him accountable. You're still not holding him accountable. Okay. Is LeBron James a coach killer? Coach Scott, is LeBron James a coach killer?
No. Not based off of the statistics I read. No, he's not. And here's why I say that. Any coach that's 3-19 in an interconference rival, a team that you're going to have to play at least 4 times, at least a minimum of 8 times within a year. If you're in the same conference, if you're 3-19, why in the hell would I pay you $5+ million not to get the job done? You tell me that.
Was it Darvin Ham's fault when the Lakers was up 22 points? No, I'm asking. Was it Darvin Ham's fault then?
Abaya, we can't hear you.
Okay, we can't hear you, Abaya. Can't hear you, Abaya.
Oh, I was talking on mute. I was over here like, wait, Coach J.O., take us back to the breakdown scene, producer. Take us back to the breakdown scene. I was talking up a storm. Hey, listen, those are some great points, right? Those are great points. I said LeBron James was the coach killer. After that, I might have to go back and reconsider. I gotta be fair. Now, that was a hell of a point. Now, I do believe that some of those players, like I said, was because they was going from team to team, and so some of those coaches were eliminated off that list. But it still was an awesome and great point. And I have to say, you know what? Being a moderator, being fair, I gotta say, we gotta look at both sides of the fence. I can't hate. Let's finish up this video though. Let's jump back over. I'm not on the juice. I'm just being real. He made a great point. He made a great point. Let's jump on the video. All right, let's go back.
It's what he does. Nobody, I repeat, nobody, no star in the history of sports has gone about the business of methodically, systematically, continuously trying to control the narrative. And I have proof. That podcast.
Now, right here, This is the point I want to get to y'all. I'm going to play the rest of the video out. He says nobody has been methodical as LeBron is trying to control the narrative, and I have proof. If you don't like Stephen A. Smith, that's one thing. If you like Stephen A. Smith, that's another thing. If you just indifferent, that's another thing. But one thing nobody can say, whether you like him, love him, hate him, in between, whatever, you can't say when that man said he got proof, the man be coming with some facts now. He ain't gonna just make it up. You could say he might have said some silly stuff. He did some silly things, but the man's good at what he do. And by when he's saying what he's finna say, I believe him. I'm gonna finish out the video.
That him and JJ Redick have. Let me be the first to say, it's a great podcast. You want to learn some basketball, you listen to them brothers. I ain't throwing no shade on them. I love JJ and the job he's doing. I appreciate LeBron, his greatness, and his cerebral approach, educating us about the game of basketball. But why would you choose to do that in your 21st season approaching age 40? Because you know why? You want to make sure that you're the guy that gets to put your fingerprints on narratives, because you have proven throughout the years that you care about that. Well, we're here to say, yo, you got your approach, we got ours. You got your penchant for control of the narrative, we got ours. And oh, by the way, you're talking about you. So therefore, you ain't gonna be but so objective. We, on the other hand, are going to be very objective. Shannon, you and I disagree, but we don't fail to acknowledge the greatness of LeBron James and how he's on the Mount Rushmore of basketball. Kendrick Perkins, you are a friend. You've known this man for decades, which is why you repeatedly will tell people to kiss your ass when they come to you trying to tell you how you supposed to be talking to and about LeBron James. Who the hell are they? Because you know him. You see what I'm saying? But you've had to do it. Why did you have to do it, Kendrick Perkins? Because that man allowed people to approach you to try to infiltrate a narrative he may have disagreed with. Why did you have to do it, Kendrick Perkins? Because that man allowed people to approach you to try to infiltrate a narrative he may have disagreed with that you, me, Shannon, or somebody else has put forth. This is what he does. This is what he has done. And there is no escaping that.
You heard?
Now, Perk never said that wasn't true. Apparently, according to Stephen A., and there's more to be, seen about that video, LeBron James and his camp, if you're major media and you're talking and it's not good for him, what you're saying, or it's not where the narrative is being pushed towards him and him being the GOAT, I didn't know this. And even Charles Benson over on the Dreamers Pro Show, he said he didn't know this as well. They were literally and physically approaching reporters to talk to them. Not to, hey, man, why you say anything bad about me? That type of deal. But hey, so what was your thoughts and why do you feel the need to have people you've hired to approach people to question them about what they said about you? Is this the reason Perk is jumping off of the LeBron train? Because Stephen A. Smith just said that man had somebody approach you to try and change the narrative that you put out. He didn't like it. So now they're coming to you, Perk. Could this be the reason, Coach Dale? Because that's real suspect.
Of course it's the reason. Of course it's the reason. How long have we talked about this on this show? Nick Wright, or should I call him, or as I like to call him, Nick Wrong, okay, who has a talk show, First Things First, on Fox Sports, is literally a Clutch client. He's literally a Clutch Sports client.
Wait. Now, you always tell people that, but explain that. What does that even mean? He's a Clutch client.
Okay. Literally. All right, look, everybody knows that Nick Wright is one of the biggest LeBron James fans that has walked God's green earth. He is on the same agency as LeBron Ramon James. The same agent. They share the same agent. All right? They represent Nick Wright to get all his contracts structured or whatever. So he knows LeBron James personally. He knows LeBron James camp personally. He knows Rich Paul personally. He even gets on the show and says he has conversation with these guys. Okay? Wouldn't it be of the interest of Clutch Sports for Nick Wright to push the LeBron James narrative in a positive manner, whether deceitful or not?
It would be. It would be. Facts. Coach Scott, what's your thoughts on it?
I think that when you want something to be something, it's gonna be that. I think that what I heard. Go ahead.
I didn't say nothing. I'm listening.
No, I mean, you laughed and you kind of rebuffed what I'm saying. So I thought you had. I thought you were going to communicate on it. So I
will when you're done. Go ahead.
But in Coach J.O.'s kind of journalism, I think that's great journalism to find out that Nick Wright, or Nick Wrong, as you call him, is a part of Clutch Sports media's kind of regime, as you like to call it, I air quotes because I don't specifically know myself. I did some research myself, and it's pretty ironic how many players that are part of the Jumpman brand that kind of hold to one narrative as well. It's pretty ironic how many people who hold to the Jumpman brand and hold to the Jumpman kind of moniker as it pertains to being signed to Michael Jordan's official brand, whether it be shoes or specific apparel or clothing, that they have a specific narrative that they push when they talk. So whether it be their college or whether it be their organization, hey, it's those type of things that kind of say, hey man, it's all about who you like and what you're going to say based on who's buttering your bread, I guess. But as a subjective fan, that's one of the things that you, myself, and Abaya, hey, it says it at the top. We do sports unfiltered. Nobody's asking us, hey, say this because of this, make this statement because of this. I'm speaking about what I physically see as a former player that looks at athletics, that looks at athletes that perform a sport in the greatest capacity that they can. And I say, based on what I see, hey, this guy is probably the greatest I've seen in this capacity based on X, Y, and Z.
Coach Scott, what did you not hear that Stephen A. Smith just said? Like, how could you misconstrue those words? He literally stated that LeBron James camp came to Perkins to push a narrative. Like, what about, like, how can you confuse what was said?
I'm sorry. I apologize if you weren't finished.
I'm asking, like, how could you confuse that? Like, what about that don't you understand?
Oh, here's my only point. If Perk was already a part of the LeBron James camp, a part of the LeBron James narrative, a part of the LeBron James, he's the greatest. If Perk was already communicating that from his seat, from how he saw it, from his vantage point, why would someone else have to approach him? That's what my question was. And that's why I don't see it the same.
Wait.
Go ahead.
I have a question about what you're just saying. Are you saying that Perk was not already saying that LeBron was the GOAT and he was not the greatest and all this stuff?
No. What I'm saying is Perk was already felt that way. That's what Perk was already communicating. I don't need somebody to tell me tomorrow is Wednesday if tomorrow's going to be Wednesday anyway. I don't need nobody to tell me that.
I'm a little confused. I'm a little confused about what you're talking about.
I don't need nobody to approach me to tell me that.
It's going to be Wednesday regardless. What way? What way did he already feel?
In my opinion, based off of what I've heard in Big Perk's commentary on LeBron James, I felt as if Big Perk felt like LeBron James was the greatest basketball player. That's what my take was up until the previous firing of Darvin Ham. That was my take. Now, if you had a different take, I think just different.
I think that's the point. We all knew that Perk was saying that LeBron was a GOAT, and he like Coach J.O. said earlier, he even had an argument with Shannon Sharpe about who was a supporter the longest.
The longest, right?
The question is why is he falling back, and like now he's taking a different approach and have a different outlook on what's going on. And I'm not saying he doesn't no longer think that LeBron is the GOAT, but he is now being a lot more critical of LeBron. And the question is, could that be because of what Stephen A. said he had proof of and what was coming out, that LeBron sends his camp to question reporters and journalists and ask them or try to sway the narrative? And maybe that's something Big Perk is not liking.
What all I'm talking about is Big Perk. I don't specifically know as it pertains to other people. I'm just talking about what I saw and what I physically heard just now. But I also watched I watched the full interview. And in that, what I gather from it is, if a person is already in that camp, if a person is already pushing that specific narrative, I don't need anybody to come help push the same narrative. You feel that way. So why do I need anybody to come question you about anything?
The thing is, because even if you're a part of that, and if you say something, because even Shannon Sharpe at one point, he stood on the opposing side and criticized LeBron once or twice here or there. That's what Stephen A. is saying. When Perk did it, all of a sudden, here come LeBron Kemp. Why are you saying that? Why can't he just he thinks you're the GOAT. He thinks you're the greatest. Why can't he say anything? And that's the whole thing about the LeBron fanship. And I know the guys, y'all watch the show and y'all say what you're going to say, we haters or whatever. We just talking basketball. And if you don't like it, then don't watch the show. Listen, the point is, you can't say anything negative about LeBron. This is the first player ever you can say nothing negative about. Right?
That's crazy.
How many times did I tell the story about Jordan back in '93 when he came and he didn't sign those autographs for those little kids that was from the orphanage out there waiting for him to sign autographs? That was when I really stopped liking Jordan personally. I think he's the GOAT on the court. Personally, I don't like Jordan. I've talked about that several times. Nobody's ever told me I'm attacking the black community. Nobody's ever said I'm a hater, and none of this stuff never came up. Not once. Not ever. But if you say one thing about LeBron, it's an issue. It's an issue. Welcome to The GOAT Debate, the premier online sports debate show where engaging discussions and thrilling debates unfold as we determine who is the greatest of all time in every sport. I am your host, Abaya Israel, joined by my two co-hosts, Coach Scott and Coach J.O. Tune into our YouTube and Facebook channels to catch our reactions and coverage of the biggest games and the latest news. Don't miss out on your chance to participate in the action. Join us every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for The GOAT Debate, where you, the viewer, can call in and share your thoughts on who deserves the title of the GOAT. Be sure to mark your calendars. Every Monday, we upload 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, and we go live every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to subscribe, call in, and participate. Come and be a part of the conversation.